They liked the balance that they had in race.
Casey Kane, we congratulate him, his third career pole.
It's all three Hendrick Motorsports in the front.
There's a few movers and shakers out there.
To victory lane is Joey Logano.
Get the inside line on who's fast and who's last before setting your NASCAR fantasy race team this weekend. This is the Inside Line on MRN.com, presented by Hercules Tires. Now, here are your fantasy experts, Robbie Mays and Tyler Burnett.
We welcome you to the Monster Mile version of the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires. Joined by Robbie Mays, I'm Tyler Burnett, and luckily you do not have to see us this week. That's a good thing, right, Robbie?
I've had a lot of issues with technology over the past 10 days.
Yeah, when are you going to fix it?
We've been trying to fix it for 2 weeks. I don't know what the problem is yet. So we're on radio this week, which is good and bad because you don't get to see me because I look awesome, but you also don't have to look at Tyler, so I think that's better for everybody involved.
Some big stories coming out of the Memorial Day weekend. Robbie, it was like Christmas for many motorsports fans. We saw Sebastian Vettel win in Monaco, the first Japanese driver sipping the milk at the Indy 500, and that was Takuma Sato. Yep. And then, of course, you went fanboy on Sunday night as the 3-car went back to victory lane with Austin Dillon. A really very historic night. I'm not going to downplay how historic that night was, but you did go fanboy.
Okay, fine. I might have gone fanboy a little bit, but I've seen you go fanboy before too, and I also know what the meaning of the word colleague is, and you don't. It was a historic night at Charlotte because that was almost 17 years in the making since the last time we saw the 3-car in victory lane of a Cup Series race. For me, growing up being a Dale Earnhardt fan, to watching that 3-car my entire childhood, and then losing Dale in 2001, and then not having the 3-car back on track again until 2013. I think a lot of fans were really excited to see that the other night. But for Austin Dillon to get to victory lane, he's won the Truck Series championship, he's won the Xfinity Series championship, and he finally gets to victory lane in the Cup Series. I think it's overdue. I think he should have been here a long time ago. Hopefully this is the first of many for him. And we'll talk about this here in a little bit, Tyler, when we get to our 3 surprises. Richard Childress has 2 wins in 2017. They've got 2 drivers locked in the playoffs.
And both of those wins, so Ryan Newman in Phoenix was a pit stop gamble, stayed out. And then Austin Dillon, of course, was a fuel mileage race. And both of those times, Kyle Busch came out in second, and he is yet to be winless this year. That is remarkable to me.
Yeah, and I'll go back to what I said last year about Chris Buescher when he won at Pocono. It doesn't say weather in the stat book. It doesn't say fuel mileage in the stat book or tire strategy in the stat book. You know what it says in the stat book? It says winner.
That's right.
That's what's important.
Austin Dillon may have been the dominant, dominated the headlines over the weekend, but Martin Truex Jr. dominated the fantasy points yet again, leading 233 laps. He's now led 769 laps this year. That's a remarkable number. He went on to finish third in the race. But we head to Dover this week, a place where more oftentimes than not you're racing for second because Jimmy Johnson has won there 10 times. Is Johnson a must-start this week? And we're going to discuss that as we move forward throughout the show. We'll also have Glenn Jarrett on the show today. He will be in Dover this weekend for the Motor Racing Network. We'll get his perspective. Plus, we'll play another segment of Under the Rock. I think it's an audio version this week.
It's an audio version this week. Yeah.
See, we haven't had many audio versions. I feel like I do better with those. Because
You're not today.
No, because we had the Cheers song?
Yeah.
What was that, a couple years ago? Well, last year, I guess.
You missed Hotel California. I think you got Stevie Nicks, but you missed a lot of audio stuff.
I think I missed Stairway to Heaven.
You missed Stairway to Heaven. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Chuck Barris.
Or Chuck Berry.
Wow. Anyways, and then we'll get the chickens picks. And speaking of the chicken, before we go to break here, I have to give Rango Fowler a shout-out, all right? He finished 53rd last week with his picks. And actually, post-race, we asked Kyle Busch what he felt after he saw that Rango had a good day in the Coke 600.
I'm not surprised about anything. Congratulations.
Wow. What do you think of that?
I think it's time to go to break.
All right, more from this edition of the Monster Mile Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires. When we come back, we'll discuss our 3 surprises. This is the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires.
Restore lost fuel economy and eliminate rough idle with Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, buy 2 bottles of Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner and get 1 free. Plus, get double O Rewards points on this offer. Clean clogged injectors with Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's almost Busch o'clock. A time for relaxing and unwinding with a crisp, cold Busch beer. It's the most refreshing time of the day. Wait for it. 3, 2, 1. Busch. Crisp, cold Busch. Enjoy responsibly. Busch Beer. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
When the smoke settles, the entertainment never stops.
And that you're supposed to be having fun.
On race weekends, your favorite NASCAR personality is an everyday superhero.
The Superman colors with Jimmy Johnson.
But when they leave the racetrack, they're just like everyone else.
So I have to challenge myself more to stay balanced with my personal and professional life.
I'm Susie Armstrong. Join me on a daily journey as we discuss the hot topics and engaging personalities of NASCAR Nation. Ned Jarrett's World of Racing, weekdays on the Motor Racing Network. Welcome back to the Inside Line Fantasy Show. We've been expecting you. Here are your hosts, Robbie Mays and Tyler Burnett.
We thank you for joining us on your final workday of the week on this Friday, Dover edition of the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show. Before we get to more, let's first remind you it's almost Busch o'clock, the most refreshing time of day, a time for relaxing and unwinding with friends and family over a crisp, cold Busch beer. Busch's roots are in racing, but whether you're enjoying the race or going hunting on the weekend, nothing is better than when it's time to relax than a crisp, cold Busch. Since 1955, Busch has delivered a beer that's as crisp and cold as a mountain stream, consistently providing refreshing, smooth taste and easy finish. It doesn't have to be happy hour to be Busch o'clock, the most refreshing time of day. So grab a 6-pack of Busch beer for the cooler, start the grill, and relax. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Busch Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. Let's talk about our 3 surprises leaving the Coke 600. Robbie Mays, your number 1 fantasy surprise throughout the season, or maybe leaving the Coke 600?
Well, I think the number 1 surprise after the 600, and I turned to Woody Kane in the media center Sunday night after the race was over, and I said this exact same thing. Richard Childress Racing has 2 drivers in the playoffs, and they have 2 wins. Roush Fenway Racing has 1 driver in the playoff, and they have 1 win. Joe Gibbs Racing doesn't have either a win or driver officially locked in the playoffs. That's shocking to me. That's my number 1 surprise leaving Charlotte.
Yeah, I take it to the extreme as well. Kevin Harvick doesn't have a win.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing to me. Though Stewart Haas Racing did win the Daytona 500 with Kurt Busch, but if Kurt Busch didn't win that Daytona 500, do they have a win thus far? I mean, he hasn't competed all year long. Mine is kind of along the same lines, but I'm going to take the opposite perspective on Joe Gibbs Racing. We finally saw some speed from Joe Gibbs Racing in the Toyotas this weekend at the Coke 600 this past weekend. Kyle Busch was 2nd. Matt Kenseth was 4th. Denny Hamlin got some stage points. He actually won a stage, was 5th. And Suarez finished 11th. That is the best showing from Joe Gibbs Racing all year long at a mile-and-a-half racetrack where they have struggled the majority of the year.
And when you throw in the fact that Martin Truex finished, 3rd, Eric Jones was 6th or 7th, it was a good night for Gibbs. But they just don't have a win yet.
Yeah, that's
what matters.
That's where it is. What about your number 2?
Number 2 was how shockingly, I'm not going to say awful, but off the mark the Team Penske was over the course of the 2 weeks at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Neither were good for the All-Star race. Joey Logano struggled all weekend long over the 600 to try to find some speed in that car, and they never got it. And, of course, Brad crashed out early. We never got to see what he did or what he could do on Sunday night. But I thought going into those 2 races, 1.5 miles, they would be a lot better. They were not good over the course of 2 weeks. So that was shocking.
Yeah, that was a bit surprising. And, of course, we only saw Keselowski run 19 laps in the Coke 600 because he got caught up in the mess with Chase Elliott and Jeffrey Earnhardt. One of the guys that went into the weekend, very down on himself and is my number 2 surprise. In the All-Star race, he virtually finished last. I mean, Matt Kenseth, what did he have, an engine problem?
If it wasn't for
like
an engine problem and Ryan Newman crashing, he was going to finish last.
But Dale Earnhardt Jr. Was not good in the All-Star race. In fact, he said it might have been the worst car he's ever been in Charlotte. He had a top 10 last week, Robbie, in the Coke 600. He finished 10th. That was a surprise to me. Do you think, though, that it translates moving forward? for Dale Earnhardt Jr. and that team.
I think no. But I do think we're coming up to some tracks where Dale Jr. historically has run well, and he has the ability to go run well again. As far as what he did Sunday night, I don't think you'll see that translate going forward, but I think you will see the momentum off of that run going forward. I guess that's what you were talking about. But Dover this weekend, he's won there before. He's obviously won at Pocono. He's obviously won at Michigan. So these next 3 races, this is make or break time for Junior if he wants to make the playoffs this year.
All right, your third surprise.
9 different winners through the first 12 races. Of course, 8 of those count for the playoffs. The Joey Logano win at Richmond was that doesn't count for the playoffs. But the fact we have run 12 races, we have 9 different winners. That's 9 playoff spots, and there are still big names that haven't won yet this year, including Dale Jr., including guys like Clint Boyer, who we think we're going to win. All of Joe Gibbs hasn't won yet. We talked about this 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think, with Matt Donor in here. Are we going to get to 16 winners in the regular season? I think this year we actually have a legitimate chance of getting 16 winners before we get back to Richmond.
Yeah, and that leads to my third surprise, which is just remarkable to me. The winless drivers right now are, well, there's, I would say, at least 3 Hall of Famers, potential Hall of Famers, future Hall of Famers, with Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Matt Kenseth.
Yeah.
They're all winless right now. Denny Hamlin's winless. Ryan Blaney, Eric Jones, Jamie Mack, Jr., Boyer, Chase, Casey Kane, Logano. Well, Logano has the asterisk next to it. But those are guys who potentially need to win to get into the playoffs. That's a long list of guys who have yet to win yet, and that's some big surprises right there.
You look at Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch. I think Jamie McMurray can get a win this year. We've been saying Chase Elliott is on the cusp of getting a win. Clint Boyer, I think he can win. Hamlin, Blaney should have won a couple of times already this year. Kenseth, Eric Jones, Suarez, your top 20. I mean, this is going to be a fun summer. I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do this summer as far as the number of winners go.
And it starts with Dover, and they have to beat one guy who's in the 48 car who is going to be a Hall of Famer, and he's a 7-time champion, and that's Jimmy Johnson, who's won at Dover 10 times. The problem with that, though, Robbie, is that lately he hasn't been all that good.
Yeah. 5 races, his average finish is 15.4. He's got 2 finishes of 25th or worse. One of those was a mechanical problem, not his fault. Last year in this race, he finished 25th, but he was. I still say you start him regardless of what the situation is at Dover.
You sure?
Yeah.
What if he's out to lunch in practice, doesn't qualify well? I mean, I don't know.
They find a way to win when they go to Dover.
I didn't start Martin Truex Jr. this past week because he didn't look that great in practice. He wasn't good in the All-Star race. In fact, He didn't even make the top 10 in the last stage in the All-Star race. But yeah, he goes out there and he's the best car all day long.
What did you learn?
Just shut up. Hashtag shut up, Robbie.
That doesn't work this way. I also think Truex is a must-start this weekend. I'm going to start Chase Elliott. He finished 3rd in both races last year.
I think Kevin Harvick. The 3 guys I would start, and all kidding aside, the 3 guys I am most likely going to start this weekend are Martin Truex Jr., Kevin Harvick, and Jimmy Johnson. They've been the 3 best cars the past, 4 or 5 times we've been there.
Yeah. Kevin Harvick, like we said, he should have gotten a win a couple of times this year. I think he's very, very close to getting that first win. He should have had him before now. Rodney Childers still a smart crew chief. They've had speed every week, so definitely Harvick is a good shot. I like Clint Boyer every time we go to Dover. Doesn't matter what car he's in, he's always good here. And if you're looking for some value picks, Trevor Bayne was 10th in this race last year.
All right. Those are some picks from the expert over there, Robbie Mays.
Hashtag expert.
Who's been so great at fantasy this year. Obviously, that's sarcasm in my voice.
I'm not surprised by anything.
Practice is coming up at 10:30.
Not surprised about anything. Congratulations.
Practice is coming up at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. So let's go to our next break, and then we'll talk to Glenn Jarrett on the other side. This is the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice, Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
MRN.com, your online destination for all things NASCAR. Looking for the latest NASCAR news? MRN.com. NASCAR stats for fantasy racing? MRN.com. Opinion pieces from award-winning motorsports writers? MRN.com. Race schedules, series standings, and photos? MRN.com. Live race streaming and audio and video podcasts that you can't miss? MRN.com. Stay up to date with all things NASCAR. MRN.com.
Live sports are the one true reality entertainment, where a single dramatic moment can become timeless. In NASCAR, Motor Racing Network's live broadcasts elevate your senses to the sights, sounds, and struggles taking place on the racetrack.
One final lap of the Daytona 500. Joey Logano has the point. Junior crosses over.
The power of radio to the imagination of the listener. Tune in to the Motor Racing Network. Visit MRN.com for an affiliate list in your local area.
Let's talk more fantasy racing on the Inside Line. Here's Robbie and Tyler.
Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series practice coming up at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. That's just under an hour now. Then a qualifying session at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time today, followed by the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, Bar Harbor 200 from Dover, 5 p.m. today. It's a triple header weekend, Robbie, and it should be kind of exciting. We are now joined by a guy who's made 4 starts at the Dover International Speedway in what is now the Xfinity Series and what used to be the Late Model Sportsman Series. I don't remember when it was called that because I don't think I was alive. In fact, in 1983, he finished 5th behind Dale Earnhardt. It's Glenn Jarrett. He joins us this weekend. What's up, Glenn?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Great. How are you?
Doing well. I'm working on a house I'm flipping, so I'm laying on my back painting right now, but I'll take a break for you guys. anything to stop painting.
Wow. Yeah, I hear you there. Glenn, you've got 2 top 5 finishes in the NASCAR Xfinity Series and 67 starts. One of those was at Dover, as Tyler was just talking about. Walk us through a lap at Dover. I love the track because it's not like anything else we go to. Walk us through a lap there. Why is it so difficult for drivers to get a hold of?
Well, the best way I can describe it is about 5 seconds of thrill and excitement going down the straightaways, and then about 7 or 8 seconds of abject terror when you go off into those turns because you are carrying so much speed. And the car actually, you'll hear us talk about this tomorrow, and I mean during the Xfinity race. We have the truck race too. So there's a feeling that the car or the truck just lifts off the ground. It launches into the turns there. The back end gets real light when you dive off in those corners at the speed that we go through there at Dover. And but it's fun. I mean, you can chase the car. It's a wide racetrack, and now with the tire that Goodyear has, you can drive it up next to the wall, which will benefit Kyle Larson and other guys that like to get up there. But you got plenty of room to chase the car around, and once you get over that feeling of, oh my God, here comes the turn again, then you land, getting into the turn. You can't wait to get back in the throttle and get it to the mat as soon as you can. So it's fun, it's exciting, but it can be a little scary at the same time.
Probably one of the wildest rides around a racetrack on the circuit, and a guy who's mastered it better than anyone is Jimmy Johnson. He has 10 wins there. Glenn, from a driver's perspective, you used to race that racetrack. You used to race back in the day. Why is Jimmy Johnson so good there?
Because Jimmy Johnson loves driving a race car a little bit free, and that's what you have to have at Dover or anywhere else to run fast. And he likes to back in to hang out. That doesn't bother him in the least. That's what he prefers. And he is probably the very best I've ever seen in the entire 60 years that I have been around this stuff. He is the best at driving the car right on the ragged edge without going over the line. Sometimes he does, but it's very rare that he does that. But he's just good when you got to let it all hang out, man. He's the best.
Glenn, you talk about drivers who are good with a loose race car. I think Kyle Busch comes to mind when I think about that. He's been so close this year. He finished second on Sunday night. Obviously a little frustrated in the media center post-race, and we've kind of had some fun with that today. Is Dover a place that Kyle Busch can get that win to get the monkey off his back in 2017?
I certainly think so, Robbie. He's we all know that he's due. He's overdue. He's been running well the last few weeks. They had some issues earlier in the year, just one thing then another, nothing consistent. Just some things that didn't work out for him. But man, they're on their game right now, and he's running up front. You know, he won the All-Star race at Charlotte and drove away from the field, and I don't expect anything less than a stellar performance from Kyle Busch this weekend. I definitely think this can be a place where he can win. He's won, 3 times here in the past?
Yeah.
I think he and Ryan Newman are the only guys that are anywhere close to Jimmy Johnson of the active drivers left, and they're way, way behind Jimmy. But Kyle can certainly do it this weekend. Wouldn't surprise me to see it happen.
All right, then let's talk about another Toyota driver, Martin Truex Jr. He was in contention to win on Sunday night. He's already got 2 wins this year, and he won the last time we were at Dover in the fall. He can lead a bunch of laps around this place. Do you start Martin Truex Jr. this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. He's my pick to win the race. I think that it's what he considers his home speedway because it's so close to their original home in Marietta, New Jersey. And I think Martin got his first series win there. So yeah, he's the guy. I just think right now, I mean, week in, week out, they're the best team in NASCAR, and he always wants to do well in front of us because he has a lot of fans that come up and watch him there, a lot of friends and stuff, and he loves performing in front of them. But he's the guy. He's my choice.
Yeah, he's definitely the championship favorite right now, I would say, moving throughout the year. Glenn, I wanted to get your perspective on something that happened last week. The 3-car returned back to victory lane for the first time in 17 years. You raced with Dale Earnhardt. You also covered the sport when he was racing in that 3-car, knowing how iconic that car was. How big was that for the sport last week, having Austin win the Coke 600?
I thought it was huge. I mean, it brought a lot of emotion forth that hasn't been there. It did. I think it did so much for Richard Childress Racing and Richard Childress himself. I mean, heck, it's his grandson. You know, forget the fact that it's his race car and they've struggled, but they've got 2 wins this year, and one of them came the longest race we have, one of the most highest profile races that we have on the circuit, and to be in that number 3, I just thought it was a huge thing. There were some people at the beginning when Austin started running that number that didn't much like it, but hey, that's a constant reminder of how great that car was and what a big part of racing that it was for so many years. And now it's back in victory lane, and I'm telling you guys, I've been watching Austin this year. He's competitive almost every week, and I don't think that will be the only race that he wins this year. I think they're good enough to win at least one more race, but I thought it was a big thing. I was glad to see it. Richard Childress has been a longtime friend of mine, and watching him in victory lane, the emotion that he was showing, and the tears that came to his eyes, and it brought tears to my eyes. I just thought it was a really cool thing for him, for NASCAR, and for everybody.
Well, hopefully that the other race that you said they're going to win happens in the playoffs, because they're going to be in the playoffs along with Ryan Newman. And moving forward, there's probably 4 guys this year that have surprised me by winning. We have 9 different winners already this year, which is at this point the most we've had in this new playoff style format. But Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Ryan Newman, Austin Dillon, and Kurt Busch winning the 500 were 4 guys I did not have winning this year at all. Do you think we get to 16 winners before the playoffs?
I don't think there will be 16. I don't know why I'm saying this, but the number 15 pops in my head. You know, Ryan Blaney's going to win a race. I don't think Chase Elliott is going to win a race, and it's going to happen soon. They're consistent enough, they're strong enough, they're fast enough each and every week, and I think that's going to happen sooner rather than later. But yeah, I think we'll get to 14 and probably 15 different winners.
All right, so we're going to get to 15 winners this year. You've already said that Martin Truex Jr. is going to be in victory lane on Sunday. Give us a dark horse pick, Glenn. Who do you think might be a dark horse pick to win on Sunday?
Well, I think you can't call Kyle Larson a dark horse because he's leading the points, and he's been the fastest guy about every week. But I think that the fact that he loves to run up high, and the fact that you can do that at Dover now, you can, if you feel like running up against that wall, you can do that. And he's always one of the first ones to jump out there. I think that Kyle Larson is certainly a good pick. And if I had to pick another one, I might would pick that 21 car of the Wood Brothers with Ryan Blaney. It's time for a breakthrough, and again they've been fast, and it seems like there's always some little something that keeps them out of victory lane. But either he or Kyle Larson will be my two dark horses.
All right, Glenn, we'll let you get back to working on the house you're flipping, and we'll see you this weekend. It's fun to work with you on the radio all the time, and we're glad you're going to be in Dover for the Motor Racing Network, and we'll see you then, all right?
Hey, thanks a lot, Tyler. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'll see you soon.
All right, Glenn Jarrett, everyone. Of course, I mentioned at the top of that segment, in 1983, he finished 5th behind Dale Earnhardt. He has 1 top 5 at Dover in the Xfinity Series. And, of course, he has 2, I think, career top 5s. Is that right?
Yeah. I think in 1983 it would have been called the actual Busch Series back then.
No, I looked it up on
Late Model
Racing
Sportsman
Reference.
was before. That was the precursor to what is now the Xfinity Series.
I saw the Budweiser Late Model Sportsman Series in 1983.
Okay. You weren't born in 1983. Shut up, Tyler. Let's go to break.
All right. Anyways, one final break.
Not surprised about anything. Congratulations.
We'll come back and wow, thanks, Kyle Busch. We'll come back and we'll do our Under the Rock segment. This is the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires.
O'Reilly.
The next time you need auto parts and accessories, trust O'Reilly Auto Parts. Our professional parts people know what it takes to get the job done right. Professional technicians have counted on O'Reilly Auto Parts for decades. It's all part of our service commitment to you and what sets us apart. Come see for yourself at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's almost the most refreshing time of the day. Busch O'Clock, a time for relaxing and unwinding with friends and family over a crisp, cold Busch beer. Busch's roots are in racing, but whether you're enjoying the race or going fishing, nothing is better when it's time to relax with a crisp, cold Busch. It's Busch O'Clock, so grab a 6-pack of Busch beer for the cooler, start the grill, and relax. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Busch Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You're smart, got your own trucking business, making it happen. What if I told you there was a place online where you could connect with other smart owner-operators just like you? It's an online community called Team Run Smart, where people share advice on truck maintenance, fuel savings, healthy habits on the road, and so much more, all to make your business more profitable. And it's all free. Visit TeamRunSmart.com today to check it out. You'll be glad you did. TeamRunSmart.com, brought to you by Freightliner Trucks.
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out.
Now, back to the Inside Line's dynamic duo. Here's Fat Man and Robbie.
Welcome back to the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires. We're getting ready for a big weekend of racing at the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware. And speaking of that, Tyler, even though it's only audio this week, we're still going to play the game. Let's hit it. Under a rocker, Tyler.
Do you live your life up under a rock? Or are you Tyler Burnett?
All right, this week it's an audio clip. You have to name anything about this audio clip. Anything. It's
Just
from
anything.
It's from a movie.
All right.
So either name the name of the movie, the actors, the characters, anything. So Daryl, let's cue it up. Let's play Under a Rocker, Tyler.
Hey, we're in New York. I got a gun. Let's get to a Broadway show.
I guess kids get this? Oh, they love it.
Yo, taxi. Or maybe you prefer Hawaii. Mukalakahiki. Come on, you want to lay me? Pass the point, mahalo. Gung, chicka, gung, chicka, gung. Or say you want to go to Texas. Howdy, partners. Let's raise and rope broncos. Or imagine being able to be magically whisked away to Delaware. Hi. I'm in Delaware.
Wow.
Anything?
Well, I think I recognize one of the voices.
Okay.
So I could probably make a guess on a movie from that. But I think one of the voices was Robin Williams. Is that right?
No.
No? What?
No, that was Dana Carvey, Mike Myers. That is an audio clip
Mike
from the
Myers.
movie Wayne's World from 1992.
Yeah, I've never seen that movie. I know of the movie, though. I was going to say, for some reason, I was going to say Robin Williams, Good Morning Vietnam, because I thought Mike Myers' voice sounded like Robin Williams to me. But, how am I supposed to guess a sound of a movie? Like, is that an iconic
Yes.
part of the movie?
Yes.
Like,
and it's talking about going to Delaware.
Everyone in the world should know that? That's ridiculous.
I'm not surprised by anything. Throw the rock. The Under Rock's done. Let's bring in Rango.
not surprised about anything. Congratulations.
Thanks, Kyle.
Ringo's picks. For Dover are Martin Truex Jr., Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth, A.J. Allmendinger, David Reagan. His winner is Kevin Harvick, and his manufacturer is Ford.
He had a good day last week. Finished 53rd.
I'm not surprised.
In the league. I need to give a shout-out to Tyler the Gecko as well. I believe he was in the top 25. And I don't think Kyle Busch was surprised about that one either.
I'm not surprised about anything. Congratulations.
Anyways, who's your winner for the Monster Mile?
Well, if I take the 78, then you're going to say I'm just taking Glenn's answer.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. You do it every week. So go ahead.
Who's your winner?
Why do I got to pick first?
Because I said so. I make the rules, remember?
All right. I will pick Chase Elliott.
Okay.
Chase Elliott wins at Dover.
Okay.
At the Monster Mile.
All right.
Who do you got?
Jimmy Johnson.
I'm not surprised about anything. Congratulations.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Kyle. You're not surprised about him picking Jimmy? Are you serious?
Tell us about what's going on this weekend.
All right, tomorrow, I told you that 10:30 a.m. is practice. 3:30 p.m. is qualifying. Truck race at 5 today. Tomorrow will be Xfinity Series racing at 12:30, and then, of course, Sunday, the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series AAA 400 Drive for Autism. That's at noon Eastern on MRN.com, so join us then. For Robbie Mays, I'm Tyler Burnett, our producer, Daryl Smith. Sorry you couldn't see us this week, but we'll see you next week. Pick Jimmy Johnson this week, folks. You have to. We'll talk to you next week as we head to the Pocono Raceway on the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show.
You've been listening to the Inside Line, presented by Hercules Tires. Stream us every Friday on MRN.com or the MRN app. The Inside Line is also available on demand in the MRN.com Media Center, on our Facebook page, on YouTube, or download it through iTunes or Google Play. The Inside Line is a production of the Motor Racing Network.